2 years after the deadly shooting spree on Old Salisbury Road, Michael Hayes' future at Dorothea Dix Hospital in Raleigh became uncertain.
At least one of the district court judges who regularly held those hearings said, this case comes back up in front of me, I'm going to let this man go. He doesn't need to be here.
Carl Knudsen, Hayes' former attorney, says local leaders, quote, freaked out at the news that Hayes could win an early release. They contacted state lawmakers for help, and North Carolina's General Assembly responded, changing state law. Senate Bill 43 shifted the burden of proof in commitment hearings. The state no longer had to prove that Hayes was mentally ill or dangerous. Hayes had to prove he wasn't.
He would have been released far, far sooner than he was. And by that, I'm saying 15 years earlier anyway.
Shifting the burden of proof wasn't the only change made by lawmakers. Recommitment hearings, once confidential, now became public. And the Hayes case was moved back to Winston-Salem at the request of the local district attorney.
It was a way to put pressure on the decision makers. Every time anything happened in Michael's case, it ended up on the 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock news.
Oh, I think the public hearings had a big effect on the hearings.
For more than a decade, Vince Rabel, former Forsyth County prosecutor, represented the state in the Hayes hearing.
Superior Court judges who heard the case saw all these families sitting out there and knew that there was tremendous community interest in what was going to happen to Michael.
You believe that Michael Hayes was treated fairly?
Ultimately, yeah.
You may actually find that you are in a state hospital for much longer than you might have been if you just had been convicted of the crime.
Lisa Daly heads the Treatment Advocacy Center in Washington. She says the mentally ill often face a system that's stacked against them.
That you can be safe in the community as long as you maintain your treatment. So the real question is whether or not you can actually persuade the system to provide that level of oversight and support to ensure that that person can be safe in the community.
There is no oversight in North Carolina. Patients are not monitored once they are released from the state psychiatric hospital. In 2010, Michael Hayes received a conditional release. And 2 years later, after 22 years of confinement, Judge Steve Baylog granted his unconditional release.
He had already retired. That's how it finally ended, was somebody who was completely free of any kind of political pressure and was free to exercise what I would suggest was intellectual and judicial honesty, and finally call it what it was.
Do you agree with that ruling?
I can't disagree with it. I think there was sufficient evidence to support it was okay to release him. And since he was released, it's been almost a decade or something since he's been out, and I haven't heard of anything violent that he's done. So in retrospect, it seemed like it was a correct decision.
Now age 61, Michael Hayes lives in the Raleigh area with his longtime girlfriend and their 2 children.